All over Britain, there are archaeological sites that are too dangerous to access or excavate. They could contain unique and valuable evidence of our past, which, if not investigated, will be lost forever. EXA is a team of highly skilled archaeologists. Katie Hurst, in charge of excavation. Alice Roberts, doctor and expert in human bones. Meg Waters, geophysicist and digital imaging specialist. All experts in their chosen fields who are determined to get into these inhospitable places to forensically assess, survey and extract the evidence. The expedition leader will be me, Mark Davis, volcanologist, climber, caver and diver. This is archaeology on the very edge. This week, we are heading deep underground and back through time to the very beginning of the Bronze Age. This is Parys Mountain on the island of Anglesey, just off the North Wales coastline. 200 years ago, this was the biggest copper mine in the world. Below this lunar landscape lie two mines, with 20 kilometres of old tunnels between them. Parys Mine is easily accessible thanks to the hard work of the Parys Underground Group. But Mona Mine has been off limits until now because of flooding. Recent archaeological discoveries have revealed the unexpected, that people were mining this mountain 4,000 years ago, back in the Bronze Age. Over 200 years ago, miners were hacking their way through solid rock here at Parys Mine in search of these wonderful copper veins. Now you can imagine their surprise when they found out that someone had been here before them. The EXA team will investigate new areas of the mines for the first time to answer the question, what was the scale and sophistication of mining here 4,000 years ago?
Oh, that's a beautiful piece of wood here.
The tunnels are potentially lethal and the threat of collapse is never far away.
Well, I thought this was solid rock. The beam that's moving. Move to your left, to your left.
We will penetrate the furthest reaches of the mine to gather crucial evidence to tell the story of the first industrial revolution of Britain.
No mineralisation on it.
Dave Jenkins, of the Parys Underground and Early Mines research groups, has spent years working on the archaeology of the mine.
So if I fetch the team down here, what could we do for you, your gold?
I think get some conception of the three-dimensional nature of this mine. There is, near to this, another place called the Grand Stoke, which we haven't been able to get into easily. That's a new area. It's a difficult access, climbing and crawling to get through to it.
Can we not go from the surface down to the Grand Stoke?
No. I think there's about 5 million cubic metres of spoil on the surface left by the later miners. And that's just buried everything. So the chances of hitting it from above are virtually nil. There are two mines here, Parys Mine, which we're in, and a neighbouring mine, and they're linked just by one passage at depth, which was flooded until recently. And suddenly, for safety reasons, it's been drained out. We can now get down there. If we can get down and then make our way up 300 feet, we might be able to get to this new Bronze Age site. It's unknown territory. Maybe we'll hit it, but it's a quest for the future.
Meg will do a laser survey of the known Bronze Age area and put together the first 3D model of the Parys Mountain mine system. Katie and Alice will head down to the Grand Stoke chamber to excavate there for the first time. Katie will be in charge of archaeology, and Alice will take care of any artefacts that are discovered.
Oh, I tell you what, my family spent years getting up to the mines, and here I am going back down again. I know.
I headed down to the 120-foot level to check out the timbers. They Their condition is so bad that the team will have to be kept to a minimum for safety reasons.
There you go.
It looks like I'm going to have to stay up top.
Worse than the last lot. It just gets progressively worse the further in we get. It's more enjoyable, eh?
Meg and Katie spend some time underground to get a feel for the unique archaeology of an ancient mine.
This is all Bronze Age fill here, and then it'd be really nice to see if we can find the other side of the pit, and then we can measure how wide it is.
The Bronze Age began 4,000 years ago. Essential to the production of bronze was copper ore, and Parys Mountain was a major source. The Bronze Age miners dug shafts from the surface, following the copper veins into the mountain. After the mines were abandoned, they filled up with debris. Later, modern miners sank shafts and tunnels through the mountain, slicing through the Bronze Age mines.
And make sure your harness is adjusted so it goes on over all your kit.
Yeah.
Mike is in charge of getting Katie and Alice to the excavation site safely.
I'm going to stay up on top. There's a lot of coordinating to go on, and frankly, the less people that's down the mine, the better, really. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I want to go with them, and I would love to go with them, but yeah, got to swallow it. And if that tunnel actually collapsed and we had quite a lot of people in there, that would just be a nightmare. So I'm going to stay up top.
This is only the third time I've been caving. First time was down a very small cave in Derbyshire. The next time was down a slightly larger one and about 30 foot underground. But today it's on a different league.
I'm looking forward to going down actually, because the archaeology should be really good. I mean, it's nobody's ever looked at it before, so this is a really good opportunity to get some good information out of it.
The team are heading to the Grand Stoke, a large chamber 120 feet underground, where they hope to find evidence of Bronze Age mining.
Sparkly walls. It's really beautiful.
The most amazing thing has just been the wonderful greens and blues of the copper pigments in the ceiling. That's fantastic.
The mine may look beautiful, but it's truly extreme. It's one of the most acidic environments in the British Isles. Highly corrosive pools of acid are scattered throughout the mine. The 19th century miners found that metal tools and pipes instantly corroded. Their solution was to use wood instead of metal, like these wooden pipes that have survived 200 years, pickled in an acidic copper solution.
There we go.
It's good it's just so lightweight, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Meg's mapping project is getting underway at the site where the first Bronze Age mine was found. This chamber was dug out in the 19th century. In the wall, the miners found evidence of what looked like an ancient tunnel, filled with debris. The cross-section contained wood, dating back nearly 4,000 years.
The first target is this back wall here. With the Cyrax, we're actually scanning with lasers, and we have historic maps, and we have maps that have been made of the cave system in the last about 20 years or so. New technology can actually bring everything together. I've actually never been in a cave before, or in mines or anything like that, and I have actually never really wanted to. So I was a little concerned this morning about what it would be like, but it's really nice. It's more open than I thought it would be.
The access to the stope is 120 feet underground. Neither Katie nor Alice has ever been this deep before.
It must have taken them ages to make these passages.
Dave Wagstaff of the Parys Underground Group knows the mines like the back of his hand. He's a key member of the team.
Just on your right-hand side, you'll see the timbers Katie poking through.
These are 19th century ones.
That's right. He's holding up the stacks of dead rock, as the miners called it. It's waste rock. They wouldn't take that rock to the surface. It was totally devoid of mineral. So they packed that at the side of the passages perfectly safely in their days. But the timber being the support for it, you know, that's now deteriorating after 150 years or so.
Well, what's going to happen when they dry out properly?
All these dead walls, these dead packs that the miners have placed here will collapse in and possibly block the passage then, and we won't be getting in here again.
So it's really vital that you come and have a look at all these
That's
areas
right.
before they start collapsing in.
Yep.
Industrial mining began at Parys Mountain in 1768. The mines controlled world copper prices into the early 1800s. An output exceeded 5,000 tonnes of pure copper per year. But life at the mine was tough. The tunnels were dug out using gunpowder and sledgehammer. Serious injury and death were common. Mining stopped around 1885, and most of the tunnels became flooded and inaccessible.
We're going to go through a very dangerous area now.
Right.
You have to keep your heads and your packs extremely low, almost flat out crawling.
Right.
The timbers are very rotten and unstable.
But you're convinced that we're safe down here today?
That's right.
Well,
you can guarantee that.
Yeah, I can see the rubble above the timber.
That's Katie's legs disappearing down the crawl hole.
I can't really see how it's all staying up, to be honest.
Hi Katie, keep well down now. Lower and lower. Real good crouch down.
Look up here on the right. Look, in there.
Yeah.
It's the kind of condition that timber.
Oh no! Oh no!
Timber is like.
It's just soft.
Just so you know.
Okay. That was just like a chocolate cake.
Yeah, it's like a sponge. You can put your finger right.
But is that going to be safe holding up all of that rock
That's why
above?
we're taking it very easy.
Okay.
There's a wall on your right hand side.
The size of these boulders don't half worry me.
Katie and Alice are almost at the Grand Stoke chamber, where they'll be digging for evidence of Bronze Age mining.
You can see the timbers on your left hand side.
Oh my goodness.
That's why we have to be very, very careful.
If these timbers actually collapse, I mean, how much time have we got to get out? I'm asking you as a concerned party.
Sure. It depends which way it goes. It's not going to go anywhere.
It's not?
No, as long as we don't touch it, we'll be fine.
Okay.
The EXA team are searching for Bronze Age archaeology at Parys Mountain. 120 feet underground, Dave Wagstaff has led Katie and Alice to the Grand Stoke chamber.
We're almost there. This is it. This is the lead up to the Grand Stoke itself.
The team have to climb this pile of loose rocks to reach the ceiling of the chamber. This is a 19th century chamber filled with huge mountains of waste rubble or spoil. When the chamber was dug out using explosives and sledgehammers, a strange debris-filled passage was found in the ceiling. Could this be a Bronze Age mine?
So let me get this straight. We're going up and digging above this.
Mm-hmm.
So if it starts to fall through, we cut out our only exits?
That's right.
So very careful digging.
Very careful digging. No vibrations, no hammering.
It's a bit like that game when you're pulling out the straws and trying not...
Yeah, what is that game called with the marbles on top? Kaplunk! Kaplunk! Kaplunk!
So let's get the harnesses on and away we go.
The first aid kit. Some water. A little pick. There we go, G-Mills.
There, I do that, but that's what's holding up
Okay, I won't step on that.
passageway. So don't step on it.
Mike and Trevor have rigged the rope to make sure as little weight as possible is put on the rubble.
So I can't step down here?
Well, just be very gentle.
Okay. It's very hard work.
Once you get past this really soft, crumbly stuff, you can start using your hand on the left side as well.
Okay. I think the rope's got really muddy.
Flagged up with mud, yeah.
It's really hard to move.
If you step your right foot over and over the top of the rope.
Okay.
Okay, start to take a little bit more care with that rock in front of you now. Step round to your left.
Step round to my left, there's nowhere to put my feet.
That's saying you've got your hand on wobbles a bit, so...
Just stop there because you can't really come any further. I'm just going to get you on a safety line.
Okay.
Okay, all done, Kate.
Let's go up, let's go up.
In the ceiling of the 19th century chamber, there appears to be an older, partially filled tunnel.
Just a time thing. Well, no, it's because of the...
This whole stuff. Ay, ay, ay.
Where's that stone?
Actually got to take off the slime before I see the archaeology. That is disgusting.
I've never seen anything like that.
No.
It's really disgusting.
You're on a slate.
It's like some kind of alien growth. Oh, that's foul.
It's really slimy. So what's that roof up above you? What's that?
It's spoil from above. It's come down and compacted.
This is the 19th century stuff. This is solid.
Here,
Okay.
and they found this. And
Okay.
It's obviously already been dug out the vein of it.
Okay, so I think we should
You need to get in there.
we can clean that up, and then if we can get some carbon-14 dates from the very bottom of it, then that'll help us date when it was actually dug in the Bronze Age.
Katie, this is upside down archaeology.
This is upside down archaeology.
Are we pretty sure that digging upwards isn't going to release?
I think the best thing to do is just clean up the base of this section, because we haven't got very much time.
Right.
How much time have we got?
You have about an hour and a half maximum.
Right.
Because of the wet and cold conditions, the team can't spend more than 4 hours underground at one stretch. They still have to make the journey back, and the last place you want to get hypothermia is 120 feet underground. While Katie and Alice get stuck in at the Stoke, I wanted to find out how acidic the water in the mine really is.
Here we go. So that's 2.02 pH.
That's not far off battery acid, really, is it?
In terms of the guys falling into it, they'd have some skin irritation.
And your eyes,
Yeah.
if you ingested any,
Yeah.
they're pretty unpleasant.
The 3D map of the mine is coming together.
You see this line coming straight through here?
Yep.
Right there. That, in fact, is the bottom of the bell pit coming straight through.
Meg is piecing together her Cyrax images, while David is entering his old maps into the system.
And I think it's probably the same as this orange one here.
Okay. Now what we can do is we can bring in the route that we've just digitised into the GIS.
Right, and see what that's tremendous. Yes, this way you can just choose the
spin
optimum.
it around. We can turn things on and off.
Choose the optimum orientation.
Yeah. So that's
Enlarge, reduce.
Together, they will form a 3D model of the mine system at Parys Mountain that will help us plot a route through to the second mine, Mona. Back at the Stoke, Katie's through the slime and has just found a hammerstone, an ancient miner's tool.
That's the hammerstone, I think, there.
Oh, right.
Oh, that's a beautiful piece of wood here. Excellent.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's wonderful.
I'm just cleaning up the section so that we can see how all the sediments have formed. And there's some beautiful bits of wood sticking out as well, so I'm going to try and clean those back and get samples, because then we can get a COM14 date out of here.
Right.
Sometimes these pieces of wood have markings on them as well. And if it's part of a tool, it would be absolutely fantastic.
The early Bronze Age saw the population of Britain reach 250,000 people. A ruling class emerged as settlements expanded, and a new breed of specialists learned to extract metal from the earth to produce bronze jewellery, tools and weapons. This was the first industrial revolution in the history of Britain.
Okay, you've got an hour and 10 minutes, Katie, before we've got to start making our way out of here.
Hour and 10 minutes? God, I'm going to have my work cut out.
That's what we've got, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Safety, safety.
That's a hefty bit of wood.
Yeah, it's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah, that's great. It's unusual to find a piece that size.
Oh! Jeez, what was that?
That was something from the ceiling?
Yeah. We're going to have to be really quick.
Right.
You have 1 hour, girls, before we have to get you out of here.
Katie's got to draw the section on her laptop before they leave.
Technology. We're still with civilization. So across and down, Alice.
67 across and 6 down. 52 across.
Yeah.
And 0 down.
Okay.
So we've got about 10 minutes.
It's going to be really difficult to get out. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it that very quickly.
Yeah.
You got the bag, Alice?
Yes.
I've got cling film at the ready. Here it is.
This spoil feels like it's going.
Okay.
Katie, can you not get the hammerstone out? Mike, I'm going to clear out the way, just in case you need to get out quickly.
There you go. Go on, you got it. Yeah.
Hammerstone.
Hammerstone.
Alice?
Yeah.
Take this.
Oh. Fantastic.
Okay?
Yeah.
Clear?
Yeah, clear.
Made it. That was phenomenal.
We got in, got out in an hour and a half, 2 hours. The actual archaeology part of it. We'll close the door on it for another night.
Meg's survey and Dave Jenkins' old maps have finally been brought together. The 3D model of the mine system is complete. We can now plot a route through to the possible third Bronze Age site in Mona Mine, which is marked on a mine surveyor's map from 1764. And it will help us find the best way to get the team out if it all goes wrong.
We've had to think seriously about this trip. You know, a couple of times we thought about calling it off because we just don't know the condition of all the shafts and all the passageways.
Yeah.
And there's a suspicion that it's a lot worse than what we've been experiencing on the Stoke.
The thing that I have to ask really is it really worth
risking yourselves to go in?
Oh, well, I think it's just an absolutely fantastic opportunity. I mean, if you think about it, these timbers really aren't going to last that much longer, are they?
That's right. A lot of airflow around them now. Once you get that air mixed together, then the wood starts to dry out rapidly.
Yeah, and I mean, if we find some Bronze Age archaeology, it'd be absolutely fantastic.
And it'll be first, yeah, all right. Yeah. It's fine for me. Let's get an early shower.
Great.
Good. EXA is at Parys Mountain in Anglesey, off the north coast of Wales. Our quest to find out the scale of Bronze Age mining here is well underway. Our 3D map of the mine system is in place, and we've retrieved what could be Bronze Age artefacts from the Grand Stoke chamber. The third and most difficult task, to find a new Bronze Age site in Mona Mine, is about to begin.
It's the morning of the big push, and it's quite interesting. Normally, every morning so far, the group has been quite jovial, buoyant, you know, a lot of banter and mickey-taking amongst themselves. But this morning, they're deadly quiet, just a little bit of chatter. And I think that's because they're quite nervous, and it's understandable when you think about it. What they have to do is they've got to not only get down into the mine and squeeze their way along the passages, it's more like climbing an inverted mountain. They've got to go deep down into the mountain itself and then climb back up the other side to Mona Mine. So we'll just see how they're feeling, what they're going to do. All right, how's everyone feeling then? Good?
Yeah, I have to say I'm getting more and more nervous the closer we get to going down.
Really?
Yeah, definitely. But it's really going to be worth it, though.
I mean, you got the guys that's there anyway. I mean, they're going to look after you, Katie. But I mean, if you do get nervous, then just say I want to go back, and they'll fetch you back.
Yeah.
Dave Wagstaff and mining engineer Mark Noble will be with the team on the trip.
And if there is any kind of minor problem, then we're going to be able to sort it out between us.
Okay.
The team are taking extra provisions and warm clothing for an 8-hour round trip.
The problem is, even though we've got like the absolute best people that you could possibly want to take down a mine with you, we don't have any control over the beams going.
It's going to be really hard work, and it's going to be very uncomfortable, but if we can just extract that one piece of archaeological information, I mean, that's going to be wonderful.
Good one. All right, cheers, mate.
David, this is the wood that we took out of the section.
I presume you took it out for carbon-14 dating, Alice, is it? Or
Well, yes, and also just to find the type of wood as well.
Yeah,
and we didn't actually know what it was. We were hoping that it might be something like the handle of a tool. Wild hopes, like that. But
Let it dry a bit, then it can go for identification.
Right.
And then a portion can go for C14 analysis.
in terms of our objectives, we've 2 down, 1 to go. Our first one, which was the 3-dimensional scanning with the Cyrax of the chambers, we've done that.
Yeah.
Second one is to get evidence of mining in the Grand Stoke, and fingers crossed it's going to be Bronze Age. I hope so, because you put enough work into it. And the third one is to get into Mona Mine.
There's a further site.
Well, hopefully we'll be able to tick that off as well.
The team have descended 270 feet down into the recently drained level that connects Parys Mine and Mona Mine. The vertical descent runs without a hitch.
Oh my god, these are disgusting!
Ah, curtains of snot.
What is it? Is it a plant? Or?
No, it's a polysaccharide. It's a waste product made by the bacteria.
Oh, it's disgusting, like wobbles. It's proper slime. Oh. Ugh, I don't want to get it on my...
You alright? Yeah. You sure?
We've got a first aid kit. First aid kit, Dave!
Someone look at it.
But only 20 minutes into the journey along the tunnels to Mona Mine, our cameraman, Clive, has a fall.
Clive is shaken, but luckily not seriously injured, and carries on.
Water.
Who's got it? Where is it?
5 minutes later, Trevor gets an eyeful of gritty, acidic water.
It's burning. God, you can plan this, can't you? Hold on, you've got a bit on your eyelash. Hold on.
Go to the top.
Yeah. Oh, it's out. Hold on. No, okay, we've got it. Just open up and I'll just flush it. Yeah, that's it. You're clear.
We'll get there yet.
Freezing.
Until March 2003, these tunnels were underwater and unreachable. They were drained because the highly acidic water posed a threat to the surrounding countryside.
It's not going too well. We've had a couple of little run-ins on the way down, so we're running almost half an hour behind time. Obviously, we've got a really, really tight schedule. Also, I think we're beginning to realise just how much kit we've got. You know, it's just so cumbersome taking through these tunnels.
As a volcanologist, I couldn't resist getting a closer look at the geology of Parys Mountain.
Now, the history doesn't just start at Bronze Age mining. The history of this site started 450 million years ago, and that's when the landscape began to form itself. And the remarkable thing is that it used to be an ocean floor. So we're looking at 8 kilometres down underneath the water itself, with great big towering volcanoes that poked out, a little bit like Krakatoa. And what happens is that it's so hot down there that supercharged, really hot water percolated its way through the Earth's crust, leaching out bits of copper. And then when it got to the seafloor, it deposited the copper out in what we call copper sulfides. It's remarkable, the fact that an ocean floor has now been transformed into Parys Mountain. Quite a history.
Starting to go low now. Just gets up to where it hurts. Okay? Yeah. Keep going with that.
The team have arrived at the point where they enter Mona Mine. No one has been up there in over 100 years, and this is as far as the Parys Underground Group have ever been.
That takes us 25 feet up to a platform there, and beyond that it's virgin territory. So we're hoping we're going to find something good up there.
Yeah, here's hoping. How are we doing for time, Mike?
We're 55 minutes over allotted time to get down to here. So the sooner we can get a move on and get up this ladder and into the stuff we want to be into, the better.
It was 1885 when the last miner left this place, and no one's been up there since.
Just step onto the platform at the top there when you get to the top.
Okay, I'm at the top.
You know, what we've just come through is like a warm-up for the, you know, the real task ahead. We're going to have to go really slow and really careful through the next couple of, 100 metres or so. Bronze Age, here we come.
We are here on Parys Mountain finding evidence of Bronze Age mining. Now a survey is coming together, but right now, 300 feet below me, Katie and the rest of the team are facing one of the biggest challenges they've ever had. The team have reached the entrance to Mona Mine, 300 feet underground. No one has been in these tunnels for over 100 years. But for safety reasons, the number of people going into this dangerous and unknown mine must be kept to a strict minimum. This is as far as our camera crew can go. From here on, all footage will be shot on tiny cameras attached to their helmets.
Oh my God, that's really bad.
Yeah.
God, it doesn't look safe at all, does it?
No.
Are you happy to go up there, Dave?
Yeah, I'd say yeah.
The team come to a 19th century ladder left by the miners.
Looks quite narrow in the middle, so you're going to really make yourself small.
Yeah.
Quite tight, isn't it?
Keep well over to your right now.
Oh.
I'm not sure how long this is going to last now.
It's just kind of shearing off, isn't it?
The kind of stuff that
Since these tunnels were drained, the timbers are no longer preserved.
Look at this.
It's a matter of time before they dry out completely and disintegrate.
Yeah, it's just like...
Oh, don't do too much. Quite nervous, I have to say. Small collapse here. Tell you what, if this stuff starts landing on us, then we're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, let's not think about that.
I hate to say, guys, but it's looking really bad ahead. Is it? We're going to have to take a great deal of care here.
It's full of water as well, Dave.
No. It's not too deep, but... God, terrible.
Okay, well let's just take it really careful.
Okay.
Just stay low.
If we can get through here, that would mean that we should be into a little bit better territory.
Should be more solid.
Yeah, but I don't like this one bit. You know, it is one big risk.
How big a risk?
You can't say.
You can't pin the man to that.
It's a piece of string. I'm happy to go for it.
Are you happy?
Yeah.
Remember Kerplunk?
Right, what's your path on the left?
Oh my God. This is actually quite terrifying.
Yeah. I've been in some really bad caves in my time, but this seriously takes the biscuit.
I feel like I don't want to breathe too hard.
Don't.
Oh God. It's really claustrophobic, isn't it?
We don't want to go that way, and if we look in there, we certainly don't want to go that way. The good news is we've reached the junction.
Does it look alright?
There's a rung missing at the bottom.
Jeez.
A bit slippery.
Thank God for that. Yeah.
Not too bad.
This is alright, this section, isn't it?
The team have made it through the worst of the tunnels and are back up to 120 feet below the surface. But they now have to climb a huge, loose spoil heap to make it to the base of Henry's Shaft, the only possible route up to the Bronze Age area. To show that this part of Parys Mountain was mined in the Bronze Age would be a major discovery.
Gotta say it, Dave, your sense of direction is incredible. If it gets us there, that is. If it doesn't, it's a load of old rubbish.
We've arrived.
Really? Where's this?
Well, hopefully, if Dave's navigation's spot on, this should be Henry's.
This is Henry's Shaft.
We hope.
Oh, fantastic.
Okay, phone's coming up on the end of that line. It's fine.
Communication through hundreds of feet of solid rock would be impossible without the hay foam.
I think they're going to start getting really worried up top now.
Based on a design used in the trenches of the First World War, it has long antennae that are laid into the mud within the mine. These emit low-frequency radio waves that travel up to 1 kilometre through solid rock.
You want to power up and see what happens?
Yeah, up to full, Matt.
I'm sitting with Dave Jenkins on this impenetrable spoil heap, roughly 50 feet above the team.
Hello, it's Katie. Can you hear me?
Yes. This is base to team. We're reading you loud and clear. How's everyone? Over.
Contact, guys.
We've got contact.
Excellent. What an incredible device.
We're fine, Mark, thanks very much. We're just sat down here by Henry's shaft. Now we've established contact with you, Mike is going to do a recce. Henry's shaft out.
Now that they have set up the hay foam, the team need to assess the state of Henry's shaft. The shaft is the only route to the area where the new Bronze Age site might be.
Whoa.
Don't touch anything that side.
Oh my God.
These timbers have... Just look at this thing here.
Oh my God.
See how the weights come onto that,
yeah.
And the next one, and the next one.
Oh, really?
So all this wall has moved.
You don't think I could put a couple of bolts in here, Mark?
I'd say, don't do it.
It's a shame because it's so close, isn't it?
I mean, how far away do you think the Bronze Age stuff was supposed to be up to there?
Can't be far, but I just don't think it's worth the risk.
Would you not, really? It's that bad? It's only a couple of foot up, 10 foot. I could be up there in 3 moves.
Oh God, it just seems such a shame we've come all this way and we can't get any further.
Not the way this stuff's moved. Everything is smashed in half. That thing above your head, Mike. But I really think we're sticking our neck out going up there.
Right, mate. Right. Fair enough. This is Kaplunk, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whoever was a death trap, this is it.
Yeah.
I'd really prefer it if we called it a day.
We're sitting above them. They started off... Oh, hang on, I think they're coming through. There we go.
This is base to team. We're reading you loud and clear. How's everyone? Over.
We followed the plan that Dave has put together, but unfortunately it looks far too dangerous to proceed.
Dave, can you just confirm that it's too dangerous to proceed? Over.
That's affirmative, Mark. Over.
OK, Dave. Dave Jenks here, die 1, die 2 as it were. It must be something of the order of probably about 50 feet below us. Very frustrating. Well done to get that far. It's quite an achievement under those conditions. Over.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a disappointment to us, Dave, but we've tried to go up everywhere we can and get as high as we possibly can to get to Bronze Age. OK, base out for now.
We'll see you on the surface. All the best.
It's not worth risking our lives.
It's pretty rare for me to not want to climb something, and I took a look up in there and no chance.
And I'm an enthusiast.
Yeah.
And Mark is too. And, you know, it's a thumbs down, I'm afraid.
Well,
So Dave, you tell me that they're 50 feet below us, and it's all they needed to do was get probably 30 feet just to there.
Yeah, that's true. That's great. You know, that's fantastic what they've done to get through to that point.
I'm devastated, but are you disappointed?
No, you shouldn't be. They've done a tremendous new route, and we're well on our way. And it won't be long before we get right through to there. You just wait and see, and it'll have been their hard work that's got us to that point.
Now we've confirmed we were actually at that point
Yeah.
there, and everything fits perfectly, except we're not getting to BA. It's the Bronze Age.
so
So let's get the hell out of here.
There's 5 very, very experienced cavers down there, and for them to turn around and say, look, it's too dangerous, we can't go any further, speaks volumes for me. So we've gone further than anyone else.
It's an expedition, and a mighty expedition at that, to get right the way into Mona Mine. We didn't reach our objective, unfortunately, but hey, we can't win them all.
The excavation at the Stoke has given us some fantastic results. While none of the wood fragments turned out to be part of a tool, they did give us enough material for carbon dating and a tantalising glimpse into the story of Bronze Age mining at Parys Mountain.
Well, we got a date back on it.
Oh, great.
3,500 years ago. So we're looking at around about 1500 BC.
That is Bronze Age, isn't it?
That is Bronze Age, and it's also a really early date. It's only 400 years after they first started excavating copper in Britain, so it's a really good date.
Wow, that's terrific. You know, we can take a macro view of the site as well, because when I went in, we did all that scanning of a section of the bell pit itself, and in that section we can see all these layers of sedimentation, and what some of those layers suggest is that there were periods when no one was there, and we're not sure. We see the sedimentation, so we don't know if it's flooding or if people, you know, kind of moved around in a management of the site itself.
Well, there's all sorts of little clues that we're picking up about the management of this site. I mean, if you just have a quick look at this piece of wood that we picked up, you can see there's a tear mark down there, which is an indication that they were coppicing the woodland. This is excavation on a massive scale. We don't know where they were living, but you can imagine that they were trading the copper from here all across Europe.
So it wasn't just a couple of guys digging some copper out of the ground?
No.
I mean, that's what blew my mind, the sheer industrial scale of the whole operation itself. In terms of our objectives, though, we met almost all of them, apart from the Mona Mine one, but anyone in their right mind would have pulled back from the Mona Mine. It was incredibly dangerous. So I think it's just up to Dave Jenkins and the Parys Underground Group now to just push the boundaries of exploration just that little bit further and try and get into Mona.
All right, Katie, how are you feeling?
Absolutely.
You look worn out.
Not good.
Are you?
Yeah.
You look worn out.
My legs are turned to jelly.
Good partner. Yeah, really good.
It's nice to get everyone out safe, really, at the end of the day. Just to be in there and to be that far in, I mean, we don't know how long those passageways are going to hold up, so you know, we're probably pretty privileged to have been able to go in so far, you know, and see all that new stuff. Yeah, quite incredible, really.
My hands are rotting. I have no idea what this is. I think it's some kind of reaction to the metal or the acid in the water, but it's not just the stain, it's actually in my skin. The entire time you're just on adrenaline overdrive, you know. The team was so good, you know, Katie was so cool, and you could see that she was totally scared. But I think she trusted us to make the right judgment.
I'm back. I'm alive. Thank God. Only just.
The whole place is absolutely amazing, but it's not long for this world. I think it'll be in pieces next time.
I reckon months, literally. That's it. It's just going to go. Yeah. And I hope that no one's down there. I really do.